In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how our client Mario went from this to this, dropping 10 kg and getting his abs within just 16 weeks. The entire breakthrough is on this here. Now, if you're new around here, my name is Mark and I've been a fitness coach for around 5 years now. And in that time period, I have helped hundreds and hundreds of career-driven dads drop off 10 kg plus, but most importantly, keep it off for life. Now, if that's the type of stuff that you like to see, then make sure you're subscribing to the channel and enjoy this video. Now, for some context on where Mario started at. Mario beforehand had tried everything. He tried the fad diets, he tried going to the gym 4 times a week, 5 times per week, he tried all the quick fixes and nothing worked. And because of that, he became a little bit disheartened. He started to think that progress was just something that he was never going to be able to achieve. He was in his mid-30s and he was lacking energy. He was waking up, going to work and just brain fog through the entire day. He didn't have any confidence in his own physique, how he felt in his t-shirts, how he felt with his top off going swimming, on holidays, and he reached a little bit of a fever point. What he had tried was, the biggest thing was cutting foods, but he was finding that all he was doing was binging. So he tried to drop his calories really low, then found that in the evenings, all he wanted to do was snack. When it came to the weekends, all he wanted to do was binge on chocolates and crisps, and as a result, he was making loads of sacrifices, but wasn't getting anything from it because there was no real structure there. And because he didn't have the structure, he wanted to find it, but there was an information overload. So he didn't know what worked for him, what didn't work, and as a result, he spent months and months trying to find a solution, but because he had no clarity, all of it was guesswork. No matter what he tried, he was making zero progress. And that is exactly why he reached out to me. We sat on a call together, we found out a little bit more about where he was at, where he wanted to get to, and from there we put in place a 16-week game plan, which went exactly to plan, and I'm going to show you that in this video here. So week 1 to week 2 is all about laying the foundations. In the first 2 weeks of doing anything with any form of plan around training, around diet, routine, the most important thing is laying the groundwork. When you have the groundwork in place, this is what allows you to get clear on the data. This is what allows you to build a routine that you know you can sustain. This is what allows you to actually adjust to following something new, and then everything can build from there. Think about it. When you're building a house, if you were going to build a house, but let's say a builder was going to build a house, they don't put the roof on first. They build the foundations, they make sure it's something that will last, they make sure it's something that's durable, and then they build up the way from that till you get the perfect sculpture. Well, a physique is no different. You lay the foundations with the physique, and then you start to build the living room, you start to build up until you have the finished product, which is your ideal physique. So what actually happened in his first 2 weeks? Mario started off at 69 kg, he went down to 59 kg after the 16 weeks. We started his calories at 2,400. Now, a lot of people are probably watching that thinking, wow, that is a lot. Like, I'm heavier than 69 kg, Mario's 5'7". Why is he on so many calories? The reason why we start calories high or higher is because we want it to be an easy adjustment. We want to prime the body. We want to put you in a position where it's not hard for you to follow, not hard for you to stick to. The body gets used to consuming good foods, metabolism starts to fire, which is important further down the line, and then we can build down from there. His macros were 170 gram of protein, 280 gram of carbohydrates, and 60 gram of fat. He was on 8,000 steps per day, 4 resistance sessions per week, and 15 minutes of cardio. And that is all he did for the first 2 weeks. We had our review call in the first 14 days. He had his weekly check-ins from that, and he started to get clear on the data. What was actually happening to his scale weight, to his sleep, to his energy, to his training. When we got the clarity on that, then we could start to make progress. We knew what needed to change. Now, what he got from that was in the first 2 weeks, he was down 2 kg. Let me just be frank. Mario had tried for the best part of 5 years to see progress on his own and could not see any progress. And in his first 2 weeks, he went from 69 kg to 67 kg. He was looking better, feeling better, and that's exactly what happens when you have the right things. Why? He moved more. So because he had extra calories in place, he was training harder, his movement increased, he was doing more steps, he was fidgeting more because his body had energy to use. We had a metabolic reset. Beforehand, he was cutting calories, so he was going so aggressive, and then his body didn't want to respond. So we had a metabolic reset, and because the quality of his calories were on point alongside his meal time, timings, the structure that he had with his diet, his digestion was so good. And good digestion means that the body is taking the nutrients from the foods that it's consuming and transporting it into your muscle, into your cells. Proper digestion has a huge impact on your appearance and how you look. So that was an important variable. Now, in the first 2 weeks, it's not all perfect, okay? It took Mario a bit of time to get into this. The reason why we have the foundations is because it is a routine adjustment. We don't expect it to be like that, okay? His appetite started to level off because after 2 weeks, ghrelin and leptin, which is ghrelin is the hunger hormone, leptin is the fullness hormone, that starts to say, okay, we find a rhythm here. The body is an amazing tool. It will find homeostasis as best as it can. There was a big uptake in his energy, so he moved more, which helped with his energy levels day to day. It removed his brain fog, so he wasn't feeling lethargic and tired and run down. And he still had social occasions. Now, one thing I'll make clear, through this entire journey for Mario, he was still social. He drank alcohol, he went out to restaurants, he had lunches out. Why? Because our philosophy around coaching is that it needs to be something that you can actually stick to and enjoy so that it can last a lifetime. That's why all of our clients get into incredible shape, but actually maintain that shape for life. So that was the first 2 weeks for Mario here. Now, we then move into weeks 3 to week 14, which is what we call the acceleration phase. Week 1 to 2, you're into the rhythm, you understand what's happening, you understand your body, you've seen early signs of progress, you're motivated, your momentum's building. Now we can actually put the foot to the gas pedal and really make some momentum build. So what did we look for? We looked for around 0.6 kg drop off per week. We projected 10 kg in the space of 16 weeks. After the initial changes that we'd seen, we projected around 0.6 kg. We didn't want to go too aggressive, so we kept around 1% of Mario's total body weight, and that was the projection for the scale weight drop off. Now, how did we do that? We didn't just keep him on 2,400. Every 2 weeks, we reviewed the trends with his data. What happened to his scale weight, his energy, his appetite, and we made changes around that. So we pulled off 1 to 200 calories every 2 weeks roughly from his diet. So he went from 2,400 to 2,200 to 2,000 to 18. We built it all the way down to 1,660 calories. And that was from week 14. Because Mario is busy with work and he had a social life, he was limited on the volume of cardio that he did. So we bottomed out, I think it was 30 minutes, 4 times per week. So we leaned more into the steps. Steps are one of the easiest ways to burn calories. If you access what's called a TDEE graph, total daily energy expenditure, this will tell you how many calories you burn from what area. Now, 10 to 15% of that comes from NEAT, which is walking. Me doing this, fidgeting, moving about. So leaning into the steps is a very easy way where it doesn't accumulate fatigue, it's enjoyable, it's good for the mind, it can be sociable, and it burns a lot of calories. So we pushed the steps all the way up to around 12,500, and sometimes he was more, sometimes he was less. We had review calls every 4 weeks to assess his projections. So like a projection you would have at work, you don't just say, okay, this is the goal, and then get the head down and don't actually review. So every month we sat on a catch-up call, we got clear on what we were seeing with the scale weight, his energy, and again, we made further decisions around that. And again, he was still being social. So we calorie banked. Now, if you don't know how to calorie bank, I have a video on calorie banking. So search the YouTube channel, it's on there. But we would save some calories midweek so that he could have an extra 400 to 800 depending on what his social plans were. So even though his calories were coming down, we still had that key thing that he missed, which was structure around his diet. Now, in this period from weeks 3 to week 14, we kept his protein high, we pulled away his carbohydrates to bring his calories down, and we got down to 61 kg. So there was 8 kg of fat loss from weeks 3 to week 14. When we got to week 13, 14, we reached a fat loss plateau. This happens because there is a thing called metabolic adaptation. This is essentially where your body does not want to drop any more scale weight because it has been dieting for a period of time, and this is where so many guys go wrong. They reach metabolic adaptation very quickly because they just slash calories super low and their scale weight doesn't move. And the answer that they have is to pull more calories. That's not what we do. So at 61 kg, his hunger was higher, naturally. His abs were shown, and we reached the first plateau. So how did we solve that? Down the bottom here, weeks 15 to week 16, we had refeed and finish the phase. The refeed, the stress and inflammation his body was carrying. When you diet and you drop 8 kg within 14 weeks, your body will be stressed. Your body will carry a lot of inflammation. Running the high day, as you can see there, scale weight dropped from reduced water. We give the body calories, we give the body carbs what it wants, and it relaxes. So what we did with Mario is we brought his calories back to where he began, 2,400. We went from 1660, boom, shot right up to 2,400, and he dropped 2 kg in the process of that because his body reduced the stress, his metabolism accelerated, meaning he was burning more calories at rest, and he became more active because he had more energy. Reduced stress, increased metabolism, increased energy levels. So we went to 2,400 calories, back to where his week 1 macros were. We went to 170 protein, we went to 280 carb, we went to 60 gram of fat, and his body responded really, really well. But the difference was he was 10 kg leaner at this point. And at the end, he was primed and he was lean and he was ready to grow. So with a journey like this, it is not simply about, I'm going to drop my calories to the lowest point, drop to 1,600 calories, put the hard hat on and hope for the best. It is about being statistical. And this is why a lot of guys need coaching, because they think it's simply about dropping calories to the lowest point and then hoping for the best. There needs to be a system to fat loss. There needs to be projections. There needs to be a linear approach so that you can get ahead of fat loss curves. And when those stalls happen, you need to know exactly what to do. This is exactly how Mario went from this guy here, where he had lower belly fat, he was pinching it at the bottom, he had no confidence, to this guy here, who can't even believe that he looks like this. He looks at himself in the mirror and he's absolutely buzzing. Now this is where Mario is at the moment. We're pushing his calories above 2,500. His training is progressing every single week. He's now starting to go through the process of building muscle, all within the space of 20 weeks. Some guys have been out of shape for 20 years and have struggled to find the answer. And we're getting this with guys in just 20 weeks. When there is a plan and when there is data that is looked at, guys achieve incredible results. Now what's next for Mario? Mario is going to be going through a lean gaining phase, because at the point of recording this, it is the 5th of June. So he has summer, he has plans, and at the back end of summer, we're going to go through a building phase and we're going to put on some muscle tissue to his frame where he's going to get strong. Now, we all see the physical results, but Mario has changed his mindset so much that he is never going to be this guy again that has no clarity, that pinches his love handles, that has lower belly fat, that has no confidence, no structure. That's a guy of the past. He's now becoming a new version of himself. Now, if you were to follow a type of structure like this, I can promise you that you will start to see progress and you'll start to break fat loss plateaus. Now, if this is something that you feel that you need help with, I've left a form down below where you can have a call with me one-to-one, and we can discuss the type of structure like this, just like Mario did 20 weeks ago and has got to these results. Hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully there was some nuggets of information. If it was helpful, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment down below for any other videos you want to see, and I'll see you guys in the next one.